What kind of feedback did you get a year ago that you were able to apply to your game this season?
Yeah, I think that it was a lot of, just keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, you go out there and try to rebound a little more, keep shooting the three ball and stuff. But one thing I think that was overall just going to help me in general was my conditioning. Last year it wasn't necessarily known very much that I had that knee surgery, or that was known, the knee surgery, but I didn't have any time to recover from that. I got back in 3 months. It was supposed to be like a 4.5-month recovery, so didn't get to condition on it, didn't get to strengthen my knee, so I'm trying to catch my wind in the middle of the season and, really struggling with that. So that really affected my play last year and really held me down to like 14, 15 points a game. So then this year, being in tip-top shape for the whole year was able to propel me to around 20 points a game and, 7 rebounds a game or something like that, and obviously shooting the three ball too.
How much better did that feel? Did it just feel like a whole new player?
Literally completely different player. Dude, I remember the first time we were playing Penn State. It was the first time I went back into the starting lineup after my knee surgery. It was like 6 games into the year, and I thought that I was going to throw up on the court. I was so tired. Because there's also, obviously you're getting in better shape as the season goes on whenever you come back for something like that, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're mid-season practice. You're only an hour 15. You're trying to use some extra conditioning on the side, but you can't do too much because your knee's killing you and all that stuff. So it was just a whole yin and yang thing of trying to do more but not doing too much on your knee. And then obviously this year, just being able to go all out in the preseason. I was like 7% body fat, incredible shape, and it felt incredible to be out there and just be able to go, all out every game. Yeah.
You almost doubled your 3-point attempts per game this season. Was that something they told you about a little bit last year? Was it a conscious effort? Was it just kind of how things worked out?
Yeah, it kind of worked out that way, and it was a little bit of a, I was planning on getting a few more shots from 3, and it's funny, the percentage doesn't really show the skill level of 3. I went 3 for 25 in the middle of the season from 3. It's the worst shooting stretch of my life, but should have limited them during that time. But yeah, it's I think that one thing that teams were looking at was obviously my 3 ball, and as I was going through the season, I was feeling good every game, and if I had an open look, I was going to take it.
Going on the run that you did at Clemson in the NCAA tournament, how much do you think teams value seeing those big-time moments, those big games, high-leverage games, and being able to perform under pressure?
Yeah, I think they value it a lot. I think they value a player being able to contribute to a winning team, a winning program, and staying there through years where you're not doing that as well, not jumping ship. And then as you're going through that tournament, make sure you stay focused and continue to win. Winning is a valuable thing in this league, and it's what everyone's trying to do. It's a hard thing to do. And so being able to contribute to that in small ways is huge.
I think you're from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Originally, obviously went to Clemson. Did you follow the Hornets at all growing up? Did you manage to get up to Charlotte and see games every now and then?
Yeah, I did. I actually went to a couple games when they were still the Bobcats. Yeah, so I got a big old foam finger back home. There was the Bobcats, and then took the Hornets thing off and took it to the Panthers training camp and got it signed by Cam Newton and all of them by the Carolina Panthers. I'm a huge Panthers fan too. So yeah, growing up around that area, kept up with the Hornets a lot. I was a big Frank Kaminsky fan when I was younger, so that was cool when y'all drafted him too. So it's that's a cool spot. Yeah, in a cool area too.
How did you feel like you did that this past season?
Yeah, I think I was able. I played the 5 this year more, so it was new for me, but I think it helped me just on the defensive end with getting used to being more of a rim protector and playing different coverages, but at the same time it helped me understand my game better at the same time, and what I'm trying to focus on going into the draft. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think it would have been a lot more difficult for me to get through this past year if I didn't have that surgery. So, I felt like a new man after that, and I feel so good going forward now, and I have no worries about that moving forward into this NBA career of mine. So I'm just super happy for that decision I made.
So much of this process is showcasing to teams maybe stuff that you didn't do as much in college or what you weren't asked to do. Or what are some of the things that you want teams to know about you that maybe they haven't necessarily seen on film?
Yeah, I mean, I think the college game is so much different than the NBA. And, personally, I think the NBA complements my game so much better just with the spacing and, the play style and being able to space the floor, shoot that three, not have to worry about doubles every possession, which really was what teams were just game planning for me. So the college game did kind of take away from my game in that sense. And I still had a good year, but I wasn't able to do everything I'm capable of.
Was kind of factored into the decision to transfer from Gonzaga. I think you were there for 2 years to go to Wake Forest.
Definitely Coach Forbes. He's a great coach, and he's been great with transfer prospects. So I felt like that was the biggest consideration for me. And then also just the work he's done with different guys in the past. I felt like it kind of aligned with my situation, so it was a perfect option.
Going through, playing those 2 years at Gonzaga, I'm sure you just needed kind of a change of scenery. But what did you learn about yourself, maybe as a player and as a person, through that experience up there for those 2 seasons?
Well, my years at Gonzaga, I had a lot of things that I needed to get better at, and definitely that summer going to Wake, just Wake as a staff, we attacked that perfectly, and I feel like that's why I had so much success this year.
You obviously had a big year scoring, three-point shooting was really good. What are you trying to showcase to teams here to kind of, show more all-roundedness, or what are you hoping to kind of convey to teams more than you were able to show at Wake Forest?
I really think my defensive versatility. I think I can guard 1 through 3. So that's the biggest thing I'm really trying to show. And just also consistent playmaking. I feel like I can make the right read all the time. So those are things that I feel like they're looking at and things that I can show, definitely.
How did you like playing basketball in North Carolina? I think you're originally from the Midwest and you played in Washington. What was it like playing in the ACC in front of some different, Duke, Carolina, those kind of crowds?
It was definitely different. Even on, the West Coast Conference, we don't get a lot of games like that. We'll get some because we're just Gonzaga, but going to Duke is hard. Playing in North Carolina is hard. Different atmospheres like that. But it was definitely different. But I enjoyed it for sure.
I think that helped prepare you a little bit more. Not to say that Gonzaga doesn't play in big crowds, but to playing in those Duke and Carolina and those kind of big spotlight games. Do you think that kind of helped you, be ready for that kind of environment on the next level?
Definitely, and not only that, just those are situations that I've dreamed of since just being a little kid. Going to Duke, playing at North Carolina. Those are just big time games, and that's the type of things that I live for sure.
Harrison, day 2 of the NBA Draft Combine, just finished up the 5-on-5. Just overall, how's this experience been for you?
It's a dream come true. Everyone's dream is to go to the NBA, and then to be at the Combine. It's the first step to getting there, and seeing a lot of my peers, guys I've been playing against since I was 2 years old, 3 years old, seeing a lot of my friends I haven't seen in a while. It's a blessing to be here, and I'm just taking everything in, not taking anything for granted.
Doing the 2 years at Stanford and then transferring to Carolina this past season, what were you looking to kind of get out of a change of scenery, and how did your game kind of take another step forward at Carolina this past year?
Definitely to show that I'm a winning player and that I'm all about winning. The way I play, I like to play with my team, and for me, I was playing a lot of on ball and as an initiator at Stanford, whereas at Carolina, I was more of the scorer, secondary initiator, maybe even tertiary initiator, and just knocking down threes and showing that I can play whatever role the team really wants me to play.
How'd you like playing in the ACC? I know it's probably a little bit different than the Pac-12, and I think you're from kind of the middle part of the country, so you've seen a little bit of everything.
I love playing the ACC. It's the best, in my opinion, the best basketball league in the country. They never really get their props at the end of the year. We had 4 teams make the tournament, or maybe 5, but 4 went far. And I think Pitt should have made it if you ask me. And, for me, the basketball there's bigs, there's guards, there's wings. Everyone plays the right way, play NBA style, play fast. And I just feel like people just sleep in that conference because we don't play the rugged style, the hard, fouling, and a bunch of big, strong guys.
What was Hubert Davis like in terms of, I know you only spent a year with him, but I'm sure, it's a guy that's gone through this process, been in the NBA, is obviously a tremendous coach. What kind of impact has he had on you in your career?
He's a great guy to start off. Recruiting-wise, it was different in the transfer portal because you didn't get the 4 years. You only got a month or so to get to know somebody. So, for me, just knowing that Coach Davis is a good guy in his heart, and I met his family, And then on the court, I mean, he's all about winning. I mean, when he came to talk to us, when he talked to my family, when he talked to me, when he talked to our teammates every day, it's all about winning, about the team, about the team, about the team. Never about individual stats, never about the NIL money. It was never about any of that, all about winning.
What do you want teams to know about you during this process? As you it's definitely kind of opens up a little bit more. You do a little bit more on the court. You get to know teams. What do you want teams to know most about you?
I think I'm a player that, you can stick into any role. I mean, I can play defense. I can defend a guy. I could knock down threes, could make plays, post up, rebound. I mean, really whatever a team wants to do, I feel like I can do.
The guy to come here and you're kind of trying to take on a little bit of a secondary role, but also showcase. How do you find the balance between not trying to do too much, but also trying to make sure that you're, contributing and showing what you can do?
Yeah, I think for me, I don't think it's hard, honestly. I have a high IQ. I watch a lot of basketball. I see guys do it all the time. And for me, what I did at Weber was just the position that I was in, and I was grateful for it. But that doesn't mean that I can't do anything else or any valuable traits on the floor. I think the best players in the game are multidimensional players. I've always prided myself on not having one dimension, not being just a scorer, not being just a passer or a rebounder, do all of it. And I don't think it's hard when you get in these environments. If you really mean that and want to do that, you got to know yourself as a player. I think I know myself as a player, as a high IQ guy that knows the game, so I can evaluate as the game's going, like, okay, we need this, so let me add this value. We need that, let me do that. And you got to have feel with that, and I think I just got that. So that would be my way to answer that.
A lot of guys, you mentioned coming from maybe a lesser-known school. Is that something that kind of motivates you? Does that fuel you to kind of show that you belong? Or is it kind of at this point you know you belong and that you're ready to take the next step? The schools at this point don't really matter.
Yeah, I think I definitely have a chip on my shoulder in a sense, but I'm not like overly emotional about it and like thinking the world's against me and things like that. I do think, when I'm in these settings, I do think it's important to prove that, I do belong so that people can't, I guess, use that against me and still be productive, even though I'm playing against higher level competition. But again, like I said, it's been players before me that have come and went to all these small schools and had successful careers. So they pioneered it for people like me. I mentioned those guys earlier, but even, I was just thinking even more like Pods last year, C.J. McCollum. I mean, the list goes on. I could just think of multiple guys that just, maybe not been these crazy all-stars, but just even been great role players coming from where I'm from. So, I do think, honestly, I do get the knock sometimes of, like, having the ball and all that a lot. But, a lot of those guys did too, and they didn't struggle when they made that transition. So I think it's just all about the player, and I think I'm capable of it.
Last real quick, I know you're originally from Columbia, South Carolina, and then went to school over at Weber. How closely did you follow the Hornets growing up? I know would you de facto call your hometown team, but did you follow them at all growing up?
Yeah, my brother used to have I don't know who wore number 10, but the best pitcher when he was younger, he used to have braids, and he had a Charlotte Bobcats number 10 jersey on. It was an orange, I remember it. But Charlotte's always been like kind of the hometown team, like you say. You gotta, I guess, rep them and be fans of them in a sense. Obviously, they've had their struggles. I remember even when LaMelo got drafted there, I remember like that was like the first piece that Charlotte's had in a while, and just being able to follow the transition of the program has been great. I think that organization's headed in the right direction. I mean, the way they've got their rebuild right now with LaMelo and Brandon and Mark, I mean, you can't start a rebuild better than that, I think. So, and obviously other good players there. I love Trey Mann's game. So, yeah, I think it's a good organization. They treat it in the right way. So definitely have followed them throughout my career and even as a kid, been a fan.